So, in today's episode of Smash Bros, we're going to fight Snake Man, played by Man Snake. Fantastic, fucking perfect casting. So, Snake Man is a robot master from Mega Man 3. He is a snake robot master, designed basically to infiltrate and to sneak into places, much like Solid Snake himself. And the casting is particularly great because Snake Man does in fact use explosives when he fights Mega Man. He sends out little search snakes. And the search snakes themselves are also being represented by the bomb chews that are spawning and flit around the stage anytime you throw them. Now you will also notice that I'm now playing as Sagat, but I do have the slow super armor ability on, so I am slow as molasses, but also OP as fuck right now. It's a very strange dichotomy. But it'll pay off in the end, I promise. Anyway, that's that fight done. And moving on from there. Ooh, we get a new area. Well, I say new area. If we took a different path at the beginning, I'm sure we could have gotten here a lot sooner. So here is Professor Chops. Professor Chops appears in Donkey Kong Country Returns, and basically he is the mascot for the Super Guide feature in that game. Something Nintendo did for a while, and then kind of stopped doing, even though I think it was a great idea. Basically, what it was is that if you kept dying at one point in the game, and Donkey Kong Country's Returns was a fucking hard game, essentially you'd meet Professor Chops. He would just turn up in the level, and he'd give you the option of getting a white Donkey Kong to beat the level for you. So that is why we have this white Donkey Kong here. And more interestingly, his particular attribute in this battle is the fact that he's hard to grab, he's hard to hold in place, it's hard to keep him down. That is to reference the fact that in Donkey Kong Country Returns, if you, the player, were stuck, you would use Professor Chops to help you get out. So I liked how they've translated that into a fighting game. What Professor Chops can't do is stop you getting kicked in the balls, so that was still a good victory for me. Thank you, Professor Chops. Alright, moving on from there, we have a treasure chest first. Plenty of spirit points, can't get enough of those. Here is Raphael the Raven. Raphael is one of the bosses of Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Islands. He is a raven who, powered up by Kamek's magic, becomes fucking giant, and you end up battling him on a small spherical planetoid. To represent that battle, we have this DDD, who, you know, aside from being a big boy himself in general, is battling us on a little planetoid. The difference here being that you can actually knock him off the edge. You couldn't do that to Raphael. And there he is. Easy win. He gives you immunity to falling because he's a big chonky boy. And, interesting gate on the right there. Here is Miltank. Miltank is an infamous Pokemon because its most well-known appearance in the Pokemon games is under the usage of the third gym leader in Johto, Whitney. Whitney is the fucking worst, and her Miltank is the fucking worst. It is so overpowered for where it is in the game, and it wipes out your whole team with the move Rollouts. Hence why that Jigglypuff was trying to use Rollouts. And also it has Insta-Drop to represent its Stomp attack. Oh, that's the fastest I've ever beaten Miltank. Here is Anna. Anna is a merchant who appears in multiple Fire Emblem games. In fact, I believe she's the only character who does exactly that, appears in all the different Fire Emblem games, despite the fact that they are all set in different universes, so conspiracy, who knows. Anyway, she is a shopkeeper, she is obsessed with shopping, she's obsessed with material wealth and material goods. She actually appeared as a playable character in Fire Emblem Awakening, which was quite a diversion for her. And this particular battle against her is representative of that, in which she would appear as a thief. who could then promote into what the fuck ever. Many people go with Assassin, but when I get given the chance, I turn every one of my units into a Pegasus Knight. We fly around on flying horses and we stab enemies in the face. That's how I Fire Emblem. Anyway, being such a prolific shopkeeper, she is one of our shopkeeper master spirits. And her shop, unlike the others, more often than not will allow you to buy spirits based on heroes or based on RPG characters. So in this particular instance, we have Phantasma, even though we'll be battling them later. And we have that old Kong, who, again, we'll battle him later as well. No need for those for now. Here is Don. Don appears in the Animal Crossing series as Mr. Rossetti's far less intimidating and far more dorky younger brother. Hence why he's being played by Luigi, Mario's far less intimidating and far more dorky younger brother. That said, this fight is anything but unintimidating because that fucking hammer. If you're not playing a character with a counterattack, your best bet is to just let it stall out. I really should have come at this battle with Raiden. Anyway, now the hammer is gone, we can deal all the damage. And in case you're curious, the hammer represents his pickaxe, and the earthquake represents the fact that they are moles. Mr. Rossetti himself is a very interesting character. I'm not sure if we get his spirit, so I will quickly bring him up. Back in the day before autosave, you could easily save scum in Animal Crossing, a life sim where your actions really should be decisive because it plays in real time. So instead of autosaving, the game would simply make a log of when you started playing, and from that it could tell if you reset. And if you did reset the game without saving, Mr. Rossetti would come in and give you up to a 5-minute long lecture telling you off, to the point it would just deter you from ever safe scumming. Surprisingly effective, and very funny at points. I liked swearing at him. There's one where he tells you to say sorry, and I tell him to fuck off. He gets very mad, and it's very funny. Anyway, here is Link. Link is the legendary hero appearing in all of the Zelda games. This particular incarnation is the Link from Breath of the Wild, a post-apocalyptic Zelda game released for the Nintendo Switch. And, yeah, he is wearing his Blue Champion's tunic. He's the, well, one of the only incarnations of Link that does not wear a green tunic and a Peter Pan-esque hat. Or Robin Hood-esque hat. So, yeah. Anyway, we're also battling him at the Great Plateau, which is where you first start out in Breath of the Wild. Fuck! Oh, that was nearly disastrous. And, yeah, this particular version of Link has something very interesting that no other Smash version of Link has ever had, and that is remote detonating bombs. You can set your bombs to go off whenever. I have seen some masterful plays performed with those bombs. They are so goddamn versatile, borderline overpowered, and I love them. Anyway, there he goes, done and dusted. And here is Fiora. Fiora is one of Shulk's main allies in the game Xenoblade Chronicles. She is a glass cannon of a character, arguably follows the thief archetype, and instead of doing big heavy hits, she will chain link combos together in order to rack up damage. So, yeah, representing that we have Lucina, who herself is quite a speedy character with, you know, very strong and very fast sword attacks. And a Shulk protecting her, because generally they would fight together as a team. Now that's not good for me, because there's one of me, and I don't like being ganged up on. So, let me use that Great Fairy to heal myself. And, as soon as I get the chance, here come Petey Piranha. Never mind. Here come Petey Piranha. That was slightly less embarrassing that time. Get dunked. Perfect win. Did it. That allows you to be made of metal, as a reference to the fact that later in the game, spoilers, Fiora does become mechanical. She becomes something of a cyborg, so yeah. Anyway, this is Lilina, who we're not going to fight just yet, because I want to check everything. Yep, this is Lilina. Lilina is the daughter of Hector in the Blazing Blade duology of Fire Emblem games. And she appears in Fire Emblem 6 as a very powerful mage. At the beginning of the game, she is basically out of commission, and at one point she's kidnapped by the enemy and forced into a prison cell. So when you do finally get her in your team, if she hasn't already been killed, she will be only level 1. She'll be way under-leveled for where you are. But stick at her, level her up, and she becomes the fucking best. So yeah, she is ridic. And also, because Fire Emblem is the game that allows you to ship your characters together in order to maximize their stats, Roy X Lilina is the only canon. Fuck you if you think otherwise. They are the true OTP. And I will have no slander in my comments section. There we go. And that is Lilina. She boosts your fire attack, because when you first meet her, all she can use is the fire spell. Well, she can use thunder as well, but she starts off with fire. Anyway, moving on from there. Oh, we're back where we started. Holy shit. Cool. This is Tronbon. Tronbon is an anti-hero who appears in the game Mega Man Legends. Well, and its sequel as well. But more prominently, she later got a spin-off game in the form of The Misadventures of Tronbon. And she's a pretty solid character in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 as well. She essentially rides around in a mech, and she's a technological badass, and she has an army of robot servants named Servbots, little yellow robot servants, little yellow robot minions. Yellow minions. She had the minions before they were cool, is what I'm saying here. Anyway, that is Tronbon. Done and dusted. Here we go. And since Gleam no longer has a thrall on this Colosseum here, we can now acquire both the villager and whoever the fuck was at the top. I've already forgotten. So Villager is the main protagonist of Animal Crossing. The villager can appear in multiple different forms because Animal Crossing gave you, the player, a lot of options for how you want to look. But what's great about Villager is, in the earlier Smash games, Sakurai went on record saying Villager would not work in Smash because Animal Crossing is inherently a peaceful game. Villager is not a violent person. So when it was revealed for Smash 4 that Villager would be joining, everyone was psyched. And that face, attached to violence, is horrifying. So memes immediately started erupting, posing the Villager as a serial killer. It was wonderful. Sheik! That's who's up here. Sheik. Sheik is a disguise taken on by Princess Zelda in Ocarina of Time. He is modelled after Impa, being a member of the Sheikah tribe, basically Hylian ninjas. And there are 1,000,001 think pieces on the internet about whether or not Sheik is a man or a woman. Thankfully, in today's climate, I can confirm that Zelda from Ocarina is gender fluid. Come at me, I dare you. So there you go. And moving on, we have Metal Sonic. We're not going to go for Metal Sonic yet. Octoling. Who am I going to go for first? Definitely done all the spirits down there. Yeah, fuck it, let's go for Metal Sonic. Metal Sonic it is. Metal Sonic first appears in Sonic CD. He is one of Eggman's greatest inventions. And he is quite literally just a Sonic-based robot. A very powerful, very capable Sonic-based robot. And in the game Sonic Heroes, he starts to develop a complex where he starts to think he is the real Sonic and deserves to be seen as the real Sonic, more so than the original article. Anyway, this battle is very, very on the nose and I love it. We are fighting a Metal Sonic. Sonic who is made of metal. And that's great. Also, he has a jetpack, because Metal Sonic can in fact fly. And Sonic Heroes was playing because he was the final boss of that game. Where his ego kind of gets the better of him, and he becomes a big fuck-off metal dragon, somehow. That game was wild. Anyway, next up, we have a Rabid Mario. I brought up the Rabbids before, but I'll happily bring them up again. Rabbids are characters who spun off of the Rayman series. And, yeah, one of the more unexpected titles released for the Nintendo Switch was Mario and Rabbids, a crossover of the Mario series and the Rabbids series, if you can call it its own series. And it had the gameplay of XCOM, hence why we're battling Mario with a laser gun here. Like, it was literally just XCOM with Rabbids and Mario. Like, when you say it out loud, it sounds less and less real, but I get it happened. It was a real game, it definitely happened. There's Rabid Mario. Alrighty, our next one's particularly interesting. This is Shinobu. Shinobu appears in a Street Pass game, a ninja-themed Street Pass game for the Nintendo 3DS, which was very, very heavily modelled after Angry Birds. In said game, you would launch a ninja from a cannon, and that ninja would essentially fly through the air, grabbing power-ups and such, becoming more powerful, hence why we've got this level where power-ups are appearing everywhere, and bullet bills to represent the cannon trajectory. And yeah, after your flight, you would basically land into an enemy, and if all goes well, bisect them with your sword. If you picked up enough power-ups along the way. So that is Shinobu. She's not actually the one who gets launched, she just mans the cannon, but hey. Gotta represent her somehow. Here is the Balloon Fighter from the NES game Balloon Fights. Balloon Fight is a very rudimentary game. You have some balloons strapped to you, you have to flap around in the air to give yourself lift, try not to get electrocuted, try and take out other players' balloons. Balloon Fight itself is arguably too rudimentary to get into Smash as its own character, so to speak, so instead, Villager's Up A is just pulled directly from that game, because Villager itself, or Villager themselves, that came out weird, the Villager themselves, in the GameCube version of Animal Crossing, could actually win NES games to keep in their house, and one of those games was Balloon Fight. So who else to take the Balloon Fight recovery move, which is proving rather irritating right now. Get Pikmins. There we go. That boosts your jump ability, because of course it does. Nice. Alrighty, let's see what's in this chest. I'm gonna assume it's Skill Spheres? Yep, opened my eyes. Skill Spheres. So, alright. Anyway, here are Board, Cord, and Bast. They are 3 fighters from the original Fire Emblem game. They all appear in Oguma's mercenary group. And, they are all woodcutters, hence why they wield big fuck-off steel axes. Now, after a few seconds, you can probably gauge the gimmick of this battle and why I think it's rather annoying. But thankfully, I'm playing as Sagat, who, right now, could not give less of a fuck about being axed in the face. Really couldn't give a single iota of a shit. So, there goes one of them. I'm going to assume that was Board. And there goes Bast. And last of all, we have Cord. Don't you dare throw me out. That was me throwing. I'm okay. Cool. Nice. I got genuinely confused there. I thought I was Cord for a second. Alright, that is that battle done. Oh, they're woodcutters. They can fix all the bridges. Holy shit, I'm going to backtrack all the way through the game and go to every single bridge now. Fuck yeah, bridges! Alright, that's great. I'm going to be back here in a moment. Let's go deal with more bridges. Not that way. Down this way. Here we go. Bridge time. So we had this one over here. on the left-hand side of the map. Oh. Oh, this battle. Okay, this is the boss. The boss is the final boss of Metal Gear Solid 3, and also the best final boss in video gaming history. And that is an objective fact. She is basically a soldier who raised Naked Snake, your main protagonist. And in said story, she seems to be a traitor. She seems to have betrayed you and the Americans in favor of the Soviets. So your quest goes from, you know, doing a little bit of infiltration to straight up assassinating your former leader and mother figure. Later in the game, it is revealed that she's simply playing at traitor, and that she was simply following orders the whole time, and she orders you to assassinate her in order to keep America's cred and to stop the Cold War from happening. She full-on martyrs herself and gets you to pull the trigger, and the final boss fight is you dealing with the emotional turmoil of that, while also getting your shit kicked in by her, because she's a fucking dangerous soldier. Now, this particular fight, as you can see, is really fucking hard. And I had to put on a spirit to get rid of the poisoning damage, so I'm not even at my strongest right now. And also there's a timer, because in said battle, the boss herself specifically tells you, I will give you 10 minutes to defeat me. If you don't, MiGs will fly over and bomb us both to hell. So you do actually have 10 minutes in that fight as well. So yeah, fuck, this fight is fantastic, and also really hard, and I love everything about it. I love how it's being represented. And also, it took me about 20 attempts. Fuck.
Let's make this the greatest 10 minutes of our lives, Jack.
Boss?
You're a soldier. Finish your mission. Prove your loyalty. Face me.
Holy fuck, that was close! Oh my god! Oh, 2%! 2 fucking percent though! Oh, it was nearly done in like every way! Oh, shit, man. Shit! That was radical! Alright, best battle of the LP. I did it. Fuck! Oh man, well, let's go fix more bridges, I guess. Holy shit, though. Alright, bridge time, rock time. All the obstacles that I can easily just plow through time. Oh, hello, the sheriff. The sheriff appears in a 1979 Nintendo arcade game, if you can believe that. So yeah, that's why he's a little 8-bit bastard. I call him a bastard because he's going to give me a lot of grief later. Anyway, far less stressful, here is the Honey Queen from Super Mario Galaxy. The Honey Queen appears at the end of the Honey Hive Galaxy, which is just a bee-covered planet. Just a planet of bees. And you have to spend the end of that game climbing on her big bee body, climbing up her fluff in order to give her a full body massage. And it's weirdly sexual and I don't like it very much. But there you go. That's Mario Galaxy for you. Anyway, this particular fight is full of bees. So I'm going to use the bees to my advantage. Turn on your queen. Turn on your mistress, bees. I will throw every single beehive. Oh, fuck. Maybe not every single one. Oh, God. The key is to try and hit your opponent with the beehive. If they get hit by bees, they get stun locked. You can't even guard against it. If you get hit by bees, pick a god and pray. Oh, fuck. I'm out of time nearly. There we go. That's the second fight where I've won by a fucking second. And with an inch of my health left. What the fuck's going on? How jammy am I today? Oh, damn. Alright, that's the honey bee location, or the honey queen location. And she teaches you the big bee style, which is kind of terrible, and I don't think there are any spirits that really suit this style. It makes you better at jumping and heavier, but also more defensive, but then weaker. I don't know what hell kind of character that would even apply to, so probably ain't going to touch that one. But no worries, because now we're coming back on ourselves after that big bridge fix. Here is Heracross. Heracross is a bug and fighting type Pokemon, introduced in Generation 2, later got an evolution, or a Mega Evolution, in the form of Mega Heracross. So here, Heracross is being played by a Bowser. A big strong Bowser to represent how very powerful Heracross is. It really does have ridiculously Herculean strength. And the sticky floor is to represent its bug typing, because many bug type Pokemon know the move String Shot, which slows you down. Okay, who's next? Who's blocking that chest? It is Fi, or Fi. Not sure how to say that name. From Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. So, I'm just going to say Fi. Fi is a spirit that lives within the goddess sword itself. The titular Skyward Sword, if you will. And she serves as Link's companion in that game. Now, Skyward Sword had problems. Problems that were very much addressed in Breath of the Wild. Many of those problems came down to how hand-holdy the game was. And Fi might have been... just swap there. Fi might have been the biggest example of that. She would spend the whole game just kind of chiming in and telling you what to do and where to go. And had a weird quirk of telling you that you had an X% chance of doing this. Or an X% chance of being able to pull that off. And I think people didn't warm up to her as well as they did with more lovable allies, like, say, Na'vi or Midna. Better luck next time, Fi. Fuck. I don't know. Here we go. There is the forest stage from Kirby Air Rides. Good tune there. And we are nearly done today. Just 3 more battles. First of all, we have the Yellow Wollihop from the Pikmin series, also known as the Potato Frog. That's really hard to say. The Yellow Wollihops appear in all 3 Pikmin games. Their main gimmick is to jump around and crush Pikmin. That is why we have 3 big DDDs, not even that big, just 3 DDDs, jumping around in an attempt to crush both us and our Pikmin. Oh god, I nearly fell into that bastard's mouth, which is an instant KO, in case you're curious. Let's not do that. Alright. Just... oh god, they are really irritating to hit, because when flying through the air, DDD has quite a bit of super armor, so you can't even flinch him out of it. So yeah, you just have to find those opportunities to get your hits in. And hits! There we go, there's 2 out of 3. And the last one. Got him. Those are the Yellow Wollihops. They give you resistance to strong winds, which is kind of a moot point because now I can full-on ignore winds. I have enough flying spirits to pull that off. Oh, hello, here is the kid from Mario Golf. Mario Golf for the Game Boy was particularly interesting because it was an RPG. It had an RPG-esque story mode. And in it, you would play as a kid. That is the boy that you can play as in it. And in terms of this battle, we represent Mario Golf by having powerful winds coming into play, because nothing throws a golfer off like strong winds. And we have a shitload of beast balls, because golf balls aren't in Smash Bros. Ultimate. We'll just play with tennis balls. I'm sure that'll be fine. I'm sure if you hit a tennis ball with a golf club hard enough, it'll do the job. May not necessarily fit in the hole, but, you know, you'll get it there. You'll get 90% of the way there. Anyway, this battle, if not for the fact that I had the Stalk Spear equipped, would have been an absolute bastard to deal with, even at a low ranking, so yeah. But thankfully, now we're down to just one Mario, and I can finish him off with that Beast Ball directly to the gonads. Wonderful. Take that, you dumb kid. You got destroyed by my yarn dinosaur. And moving on, we have Jigglypuff. Our last battle for the day. Jigglypuff is one of the original Super Smash Bros. Characters. One of the original 10? 8? 10? 12? There weren't many of them. And, yeah, Jigglypuff is the second Pokemon represented in Smash Bros. After Pikachu. Jigglypuff has a lot more popularity in Japan than it does over here. So people who often question why the fuck is Jigglypuff still in Smash, that's your reason. Japan can't get enough of this little puffball. It is a fairy and normal type Pokemon. Originally just a normal type, of course. And its whole gimmick is that it is basically a balloon that can puff itself up, and it can sing you to sleep. In Smash, both of those things can be devastating, but also very risk-reward, so Jigglypuff is a hard character to play, but a very satisfying character to win with. And now we've cleared up all the areas that I was focused on. But before we make any more progress, which we will do in a later episode, I think we have some summoning to do. Here we go. We have the absolutely safe capsule from Mother 3. This is an invention of Dr. Andernutz and Mr. Saturn, created by both as a collaborative effort. And it is a pod designed to keep anything within it completely and utterly safe. That sounds dope, and the final boss gets inside of it. The only downside is once you get in, you can't get out. It is a fate worse than death. You are held in living stasis forever. So yeah, it's actually kind of horrifying. And in this game, you'll notice, you may have noticed, it gives you incredible defenses and fuck all attack. So yeah, it also leads to tedious and unfun battles if you equip it. Fitting in more ways than one. Anyway, putting the ninjas together. Both Shade Man, I think it was, and the Shinobi. Gives us Ninjara from the ARMS games. And one more upgrade. That is Hades at its maximum form. More damaged, but more powerful.